And so from there, I felt very alone, very scared, and very frightened to tell my parents. I thought that they would be angry and mad at me and disappointed. Made an appointment with Planned Parenthood to get an abortion in Washington, D.C. So as I laid on the abortion table, an abortionist or a doctor came in there and he slapped me on the side of my leg and he said, "This will be over in just a few minutes." And I saw that person for the first time in my life, and I've never seen him again. And that's what I found out, is that with most abortionists, they are abortionists that a woman only sees that time in her life. It's not like going to your family doctor that you know and you've developed a relationship with. And he had no vested interest in me, nor my health, nor my welfare. All it seemed like to me was that he wanted his money.
I went into the clinic. Basically, I got no information at all. In fact, the first one that I had, they showed me a film strip of just blobs of tissue. And they told us that that's all it was. It was just blobs of tissue. It was not life. So they never gave me any information on fetal development as to where I was, and I believe I was like 10th and 11th week. They didn't tell me that it had a heartbeat, that it had brain waves. Didn't tell me that my child had fingerprints and toes, and possibly could even suck its thumb at that point in time. They just told me it was a blob of tissue.
Well, in 1982, the moving images were invented of the real-time ultrasound where you could see the babies moving. And I remember going to ultrasound school in North Carolina, and I saw for the first time a 9-week baby that was jumping and moving with fingers and toes. And I said to my instructor, I said, "That's a baby." He goes, "Yes." I go, "But they told me it was a blob of tissue." And when I continued my career and I went into ultrasound school, I was surprised to find out that the medical professionals were telling me to turn the monitors away from women considering abortion. And they said that seeing the moving image might influence their choice. And I said, "Why?" I said, "They have a right to make an informed choice." And I never did comply with those regulations. And by the grace of God, I was able to save a lot of babies. And I would hear the same words again from other parents and moms. "Why are they lying to us? That's a baby."
I thought, I'm going to have a baby. But when I asked the doctor what was developed, he put a dot on a piece of paper. And he says, "It's just a clump of tissue. It's nothing." When I found out the truth about fetal development, that at 3 weeks there was a beating heart, that by 8, 9 weeks all the vital organs were there. When I found out that there was little arms and legs and fingers and toes on these little children, I was devastated. It's like, oh my God, these were my children. And it's so unnatural for a woman to take the lives of her own children. And what I'm really concerned about now is that there's 28 studies linking breast cancer to induced abortion. I've already had 2 lumps removed from my left breast. And I believe that this message has to get out there, because women have a right to know that if they're choosing to have an abortion, they could be choosing breast cancer.
They never told me the risks to the procedure, that I possibly could get an infection, that they could perforate my uterine wall, that I could be infertile. They never told me any of that. In fact, they told me it was safe, it was quick, it was easy. In fact, they told me it was safer to abort than it would be to carry that child. I remember them specifically saying that.
As a matter of fact, I asked them, I go, after the abortion, what's going to happen with the body, is breast milk going to come out, or what? And they're like, "No, it's just going to stop. It's just, you're not pregnant no more, so nothing's going to happen." And, now I find out later that, there's a higher risk for breast cancer and stuff like that. But, after the abortion, when I sat up and I just realized what I did, and I asked the nurse, the nurse said, "Go ahead and come down." And I was like, "Hold on, wait a minute." And then I kind of laughed and I said, "Well, what's it going to matter? It's not going to bring back it's not going to take back what I just did." and she was wiping up blood from the floor. And that was sad. 'Cause, you know, you dream that later on and see it, the blood splatter.
To know what my baby looked like at 6 to 8 weeks. And they said that it was just a blob of tissue. I also wanted to know about the abortion procedure and what it would do to me. They said, don't worry about a thing, we're just going to clean you out, it's relatively painless. Well, let me tell you, it's the most excruciating thing I've ever been in my life. Excruciatingly painful and spiritually and physically painful.
No one tells you that you want to kill yourself after you do an abortion. And you won't, and I never thought I would be the type of person that would try and kill myself after an abortion. I thought that I could handle it, or that I could deal with it. It's just something that you do, and it's over and it's done. But it's not that simple. It starts off as just something, a fix-all, but it turns out to be a nightmare out of hell. I wish I had never done it. I wish someone had showed me a film of what was going to happen during the actual procedure. I wish I had talked with somebody that had had an abortion that could tell me what the side effects were, that I would not like myself anymore, that I would start to medicate myself, that I would resent the person that I had it for, that I would resent me, that I wasn't worth living anymore, and that I would hate myself. Everything I stood for, I hated. I didn't even have the same values. Whatever, and the more drugs I did, the more I wanted to do. Having had that abortion turned me into a crackhead whore, and no one told me that that would happen.
So don't let anyone tell you that abortion is just a procedure or birth control. It's a part of your soul. That child is a part of your life, and it's also not just a part of your life when it's alive. It's a part of you that will complete you when it's born. There's something in that child. There's a gift that God's giving that child that will complete you as a person. A part of you that's missing, a part of your puzzle that when it's put in your arms, it fits. And it's just not an option at all. Abortion is not the answer.